It's here first from IPR. I'm Megan McKinney. The U.S. House has passed a bill to allow year-round sale of E15, but its chances are dim in the Senate. And later in the episode, we'll take an in-depth look at what's going on in Iowa's U.S. Senate race. It's Thursday, May 14th. Iowa's U.S. House representatives have all voted to pass a measure that would allow year-round sale of E15 fuel. Congressman Randy Feenstra, a Republican from Hull, says expanded nationwide use of gasoline with a higher blend of ethanol will boost the corn market.
Gridlock in D.C. has prevented this passage of E15 for over a decade, and today we are finally taking action.
A report last year from the National Corn Growers Association shows the added demand would generate nearly $14 billion in revenue annually for corn growers and $7 billion more for ethanol producers. The bill faces stiff opposition in the Senate from oil state senators. A provision in the bill narrows the ability of smaller oil refineries to seek waivers from ethanol blending requirements. Critics from states like Oklahoma and Wyoming say that could force some refineries to close, leading to job losses and higher fuel prices. Summit Carbon Solutions has submitted a new route for its proposed carbon pipeline. The Iowa-based business announced it has filed a notice of intent with the Iowa Utility Commission. Summit said in a statement the amended route removes 8 counties on its original route and reduces pipeline mileage in 4 others. When Summit first applied for a permit in 2022, the project was designed to transport carbon dioxide from over 30 ethanol plants across 5 states, including Iowa, to be sequestered underground in North Dakota. The new route will now end at a site in Wyoming. Summit says the CO2 could be used for enhanced oil recovery where appropriate. The Sierra Club of Iowa says the overall changes to the project shows that Summit is struggling to make it happen. State officials say a new IT system that tracks foster and adoption cases could help with social worker retention and recruitment. The current IT system was created in the 80s. Users have to navigate it with F keys on a keyboard because it isn't compatible with a computer mouse. Janae Harvey leads the Division of Family Wellbeing and Protection. She said in a webinar led by the Iowa Department of Health and Human Services, the current IT system is inefficient and social workers have quit because of it.
It keeps our social workers from having timely information. So not having that right information at the right time is both inefficient, but the nature of our work, it actually invites risk into the work we do. We are less capable of keeping kids safe.
The new federally compliant IT system called Vision is set to roll out in December. State officials started talking about updating it 9 years ago. After failed plans with other vendors, Iowa entered into a $41.9 million agreement with Google last year. Box turtles have emerged from their dens for the warm season. The species is threatened in Iowa and struggling in other parts of the Midwest. Harvest Public Media's Celia Yopes-Jepson has more on how you can help them survive another year.
Studies suggest ornate box turtles could be in trouble. They live in grasslands, a habitat that is giving way to suburbs and crops. Climate change is bringing armadillos north, a predator of their eggs, and they get hit by cars. Washburn University professor Benjamin Reed studies box turtles. He says we can't solve all these problems easily, but one thing people can do is leave the turtles in the wild.
What I'm trying to convince people to do is maybe enjoy these turtles out in the wild and not take them home as pets.
Also, if you're able to help a turtle cross the road without putting yourself in danger, he says, take it to the side of the road where it was headed. I'm Celia Yopes-Jepson, Harvest Public Media.
You're listening to Hear First from IPR. I'm Megan McKinney. Democratic U.S. Senate candidates Josh Turek and Zach Wahls are facing a competitive primary in June. Both say they think they can flip the seat from Republican control. In just a moment, what's going on in Iowa's U.S. Senate race? Stay with us. Welcome back to Hear First from IPR. I'm Megan McKinney. For the first time in 12 years, Iowa is facing an election for an open U.S. Senate seat. Current Senator Joni Ernst announced last fall she would not seek a third term. U.S. Representative Ashley Hinson jumped into the race following Ernst's announcement, and she quickly emerged as a Republican frontrunner. But Hinson is facing challenges from 2 Democratic state lawmakers who hope to flip the seat. Here's more from IPR's Natalie Krebs.
It's a warm afternoon at the Newton Public Library. About 25 people filled the seats in a small room to listen to Democratic U.S. Senate candidate Zach Wahls speak.
We are going to build the strongest grassroots campaign that this state has seen since we re-elected Barack Obama in 2012. We are going to defeat
Walz is making his pitch to voters as to why he should be Iowa's next U.S. Senator. He says he wants to go to Washington to stand up to what he believes are corrupt leaders and policies that are hurting Iowans.
At its best, government can do important things to make people's lives better. But government can't do that if it has lost the trust of the people. And that is why we need to clean up this corruption, restore that trust, and it has to happen fast.
Walz first gained attention as a teenager in 2011 when a video of him testifying in front of Iowa lawmakers in support of his gay parents went viral. He's currently serving his second term as a state senator from Coralville. He represents a far left-leaning district that he's easily won in both elections. His last election in 2022, he ran unopposed. But for the U.S. Senate race, Walz is facing competition. State Representative Josh Turek is running against him for the Democratic nomination. He's a two-time gold medalist playing basketball in the Paralympics.
My campaign is about, first and foremost, raising the minimum wage and about affordable and accessible health care, affordable housing, drinkable water, and addressing the corruption that we're seeing in D.C.
In contrast to Walz, Turek is in his second term representing a district in Pottawatomie County, which voted for Donald Trump 3 times. He flipped his House seat in 2022, edging out his Republican opponent by just 6 votes. At a Democratic forum in Des Moines in early April, he said that makes him better positioned to flip the U.S. Senate seat.
I know that there is something specific about my story, my background, my resume, and my politics that has a unique ability to connect with independents and with Republicans.
At this point, both are neck and neck when it comes to fundraising, but they're behind Republican frontrunner Hinson. The former TV journalist has represented northeastern Iowa in Congress since 2022. Hinson currently has more than $6 million in the bank, far more than Walz, who has about $1 million, and Turek, who has about $750,000. She's also facing a less competitive Republican primary against former state senator Jim Carlin. And she has been endorsed by top Republican leaders such as Trump, Ernst, Senator Chuck Grassley, and Governor Kim Reynolds. Hinson's long supported President Trump and many of his policies, as she told Republicans at the Iowa Faith and Freedom Coalition dinner earlier this month.
And I fight alongside him every single day to make sure his agenda, the America First agenda, becomes an America First reality for our country. Are you with us in this battle?
Hinson has many strong political and fundraising connections, but she still has a lot of work to do with Iowa voters, says Drake University political science professor Rachel Payne Caulfield.
But I think it's fair to say that most Iowa voters outside of her district have only kind of a hazy idea of who she is as a candidate and what her central message is, aside from she's a Republican who has supported Donald Trump.
Payne Caulfield says the competitive primary may help Democrats Walz and Turek in this aspect because they need to work to differentiate themselves to Democratic voters, because there are many voters like Kathy Tipton. Back at the Newton Public Library, Tipton says she went to Walz's event because she knows she wants a Democrat to be Iowa's next senator, but she's not sure which one.
I'm listening, and I'll give everybody a fair chance, and then I'll make my decision. But they're both presenting themselves very well. I like that.
Both the Democratic and Republican primaries are on June 2nd. I'm Natalie Krebs, IPR News.
And I'm Megan McKinney. Great election coverage. You can check more of it out at IPR.org. Thanks for listening to Here First today, and I hope you have a fabulous Thursday.